Hi, I'm Pamela Fagan Hutchins, coming to you from our cabin in the beautiful Bighorn Mountains in Snowsville, Wyoming. We are Texans in the cooler months, and we are Wyomingites in the warm ones. I am here today because I have a new release called Bombshell. It's the ninth novel in my What Doesn't Kill You mystery series, and I'm answering a few questions for the Lonestar Literary Blog Tour. The first question is, where does my love of books and of writing and reading come from? And I think it comes from my dad. When he was in medical school and I was a wee thing, I would sit in his lap and he would animate these medical texts and read them to me like they were stories. So to me, that story time, even though there was no real story there, became about love and connection and had a real positive association. So I've gravitated to books ever since I was able to pick them up, and they've really been my obsession. My next question to answer is, what cultural value do I think that we get from reading? And I think that writing captures, one, humanity. It's a chance for us, even if we're not writing about humans, we're writing about space creatures. We characterize, and thus we are writing about humanity, and it helps us try on and see other people's points of view, which I think is fabulous. You can suspend your life for a while and just become a character. For instance, in my book Stunner, if you are not black and from the Caribbean, you can suspend your life and become Ava and try on her perspective. It's just a really wonderful thing that reading gives us. In addition, I think that storytelling is a tradition that predates writing, and it is a way we pass down culture and traditions. And in fact, as recently as the Native Americans, First Nation peoples in the Americas, there wasn't a written language, but the history, culture, and everything that people needed to learn, lessons for their life, were passed on through stories and the spoken word. What do I think most characterized my writing? That's hard, because it's hardest to look at your own stuff and see it for, being, that was my email, by the way, see it for being something other than that, steel spike through your head that it felt like when you're writing it. But recently, my eighth novel in the series, Fighting for Anna, was picked as a finalist for the Silver Falchion Award, and we'll find out next weekend whether or not it wins. Go Fighting for Anna. And what the judges relayed to me is that while every book entered was crime fiction, mystery, thriller, suspense, they felt what set mine apart was characterization, was absolute immersion, authenticity within the characters. So there you have it. That's what they say. What did I enjoy most about writing Bombshell? This one is easy. It's based on my best friend, and her name is Natalie, and she's an actress and singer and many other things in the U.S. Virgin Islands, and I loved trying to pick the very best things from her and weave them into a story that was completely fictional. And she's actually the narrator for the audiobooks, which are going to come out, hopefully, may even be out by the time that you see this interview. Which character from my books is most like me? Well, she doesn't appear in Bombshell, but the character most like me is Michelle, and she's the protagonist in Going for Kona, which is number 4, and Fighting for Anna, which is number 8, and she's also appearing in Stunner, which is number 10, which is the next book after Bombshell, the one I'm working on now, and is another Ava book. So Michelle is tightly wound, type A, the general, gets people to march. And sadly, that's the one most like me. She's also driven and gets things done, and she's a writer. So those kinds of things are good, but the others maybe aren't the qualities people love Michelle and I for the most. How has my formal education impacted my writing? Well, I was a lawyer before I quit to become a full-time career writer, and I wrote tons. I was actually a lawyer who was an investigator, and I would do these huge investigation reports. And I mean, I would crank them out, sometimes out of 6 investigations going on at once, and the reports would range anywhere from 15 to 50 pages. But that's not the kind of writing that really influenced or impacted my fiction. The writing, the education that impacted that really stopped in high school, because I placed out of all of my college English and related subjects. And then I went on to get an accounting and MIS, or Management Information Systems, Computer Science Light degree before going to law school. So my education in writing was woefully meager. And yet my high school teachers were fabulous. I was in state ready writing competitions, and that was wonderful practice. And then I just wrote and wrote and wrote like mad secretly in my closet life, where I didn't tell anybody I was a novelist. But my 3rd grade teacher in Wyoming told me I would be a novelist, and so that stuck. And maybe that was the most influential part of my education. Thank you, Sherry TVG, for putting that in my gray matter. What projects am I working on at present? Stunner, the next Ava novel and the 10th novel in the series. What I do is I take a world, a community of friends, and I give each protagonist 3 chances to lead a novel, and then I switch to another person within that community of friends. And so this will be Ava's 2nd go-round, and the 3rd go-round will be Bombshell, which I will write in the spring. What does my perfect writing spot look like? Well, it looks like one where we are not getting inundated with me getting texts. So there's that, which means no Wi-Fi, no connectivity. And my husband builds me writing spaces outside, and I've got outdoor heaters and things like that to keep me warm. But I have to be somewhere where it's cool enough and non-buggy enough that I can stand it, because me no likey bugs. That's all I got.